You've read the title correctly. What if I told you that 4 years ago, Treyarch gave us our first glimpse at a Call of the Dead remake and what is very likely to be DLC 4 of Black Ops 4 Zombies, and it went completely past all of our heads? Because this video is going to go into exactly just that. It is going to absolutely blow your mind, so make sure you watch the entire video throughout, because we're going to be covering a lot of ground here. So if at any time you're confused about why I'm referencing Call of the Dead as a potential DLC 4 map, make sure you watch throughout, as near the end it will make more sense. So make sure you get comfy and get something to drink. If you don't have anything to drink, then you might want to try G Fuel, as for the next 4 days my discount code Dalek is 30% off. So if you've ever been curious, need a restock, don't waste a second longer grabbing some in the description. But this video will solidify that we will 100% see Call of the Dead, be it as our DLC 4 location or somewhere down the line we will come across it. If you enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like rating to let me know. If you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine, but I can guarantee you by the end of this video your mind will be blown and you'll feel this was deserving of a like, because you will be amazed. With that out of the way, let's jump straight into it. In 2015, before Black Ops 3 was officially announced and revealed, Treyarch held a DICE Summit presentation talking about Treyarch Zombies. It was incredibly interesting, which detailed the development of Zombies and how it became a total accident into the phenomenon that it has become today and everything in between. But this was not your ordinary presentation, as Treyarch dropped multiple hints towards the future of Zombies, including Black Ops 3 Zombies content and even Zombie Chronicles, which we'll touch on all of those in a moment. There is one subtle hint which will definitely go amiss, and I'll play the clip now.
What was I going to tell the stakeholders at Activision? In fact, the answer was right in front of us.
Now it's a real blink and you'll miss it, but as this photograph goes on screen of Mark Lamier being swarmed by zombies, there is a sneaky image of Call of the Dead on the right. For one singular frame, you can see the entire artwork for Call of the Dead. Now to anyone that is very familiar with Call of the Dead, this should be very familiar to you. But whilst familiar, the longer you look at it, the more things you can notice that are different from the original. Back in 2015, this was not a huge deal. We simply assumed it was Call of the Dead concept artwork and that was it. If you think it's just concept artwork, then that's fine. But I'm going to point out a load of other hints they threw in this presentation which hinted to Black Ops 3 Zombies and even the ending of Blood of the Dead, 3 years before the event even happened. Let's focus on this image for a moment here. It all looks pretty similar. You have the boat, which is split into two, and you have the lighthouse. If you look towards the left side of this left boat, you notice the spawn area doesn't seem to exist. Either that's because of this Alcatraz zombies image which is layered on top so we can't see it. That right there is a big obvious difference. You can also notice plenty of red lights surrounding the lighthouse and the various mountain it's surrounding, which was never originally there. But the biggest thing to point out here that makes it different from the original is the addition of 3 brand new zip lines on the other boat to the right. There was only ever one zip line on Call of the Dead which led you from the top of the lighthouse towards the second beached ship, but that is no longer there. What we have instead is a crane where we have 3 different zip lines attached, and following those zip lines takes you off the image entirely, meaning these zip lines could take you to a brand new area of the map that was never playable before on the original. It definitely is a bit of a head scratcher and gets your mind working. Now I can't take any credit for this find, as it's something that I've had in the back of my brain for a while but completely forgot about. But a video from Pluto reminded me about this, so big shout out to him. Now you might be skeptical still about this, and I don't blame you. If we watch the clip again, it's shown for literally a second, like as if Treyarch intentionally wanted it to be on screen for a very short amount of time so only the keen-eyed would spot it. There's plenty of other moments in this summit where they show concept artwork of Derice and Die-Rise, and we see those on screen for a lot longer than that. And if you are skeptical, let's dive a little bit further into some of the other cryptic things they threw in this presentation. Within the first 30 seconds, we have a plethora of different zombie images shown, including the Primus crew, but with Richtofen blanked out and crossed with an X, which obviously at the time we didn't understand. Even during Black Ops 3 Zombies, we didn't quite understand, and in Black Ops 4 Zombies, that finally makes sense, because we do end up killing that version of Primus Richtofen. Treyarch were subtly hinting that something big was going to happen to the fate of Primus Richtofen. It just took a hell of a long time before we realized it, but that goes to show that even back in 2015, they had most of this stuff planned out. So it wouldn't be silly at all to go out and say that they probably also planned a Call of the Dead remake all the way back then, hence the 1 second visual of the artwork. But it doesn't end there. We do also see a loading screen of Derice, which at that time was a brand new remastered version of that loading screen, which was a big hint towards the Derice remake in Black Ops 3 Zombies, which was the Giant. This again was Treyarch subtly hinting that Derice was going to be remade again, but we had absolutely no idea what context, and obviously come October of 2015 we got the Giant and it's awesome. You even see a photograph of a wall buy for the XR2 inside of the Giant. It's right by one of the first doors that you buy on the map. And back then again, we realized it and noticed it, but we didn't correlate that it was Derice. So yeah, all the way back in 2015, Treyarch were throwing so many hints into the future of the Aoife storyline, and we had absolutely no idea. And it's absolutely mind-blowing. So from all of those examples, and the fact that this is shown on screen for literally a second, makes me think that there is definitely something special and significant as to why they wanted it on screen for such a short amount of time. So with that being said, let's now talk about why it is very likely that Call of the Dead is going to be DLC 4. First, it goes without saying that every map we've had so far in the Aoife story in BO4 have been remakes. It seems rather than releasing just a Zombie Chronicles 2 with all of the maps they didn't cover, they'd rather revisit some of the areas that we have previously visited, but remake them rather than remaster. And besides the Victus maps, Call of the Dead is the only map that has yet to be remastered within the original Aoife story of Black Ops 1. With Treyarch very hard at work trying to bring out a new Black Ops game next year, obviously they are very tight when it comes to resources and time to put on Black Ops 4. I'm no developer, but I would assume that most of the Zombies DLCs will have been very far into development, if not finished, way before the game released. But with most of the Treyarch team working on that next game, that obviously means there are less resources on the Zombies team, therefore less budget for what they can do with Zombies maps. And we've seen this with Alpha Omega. Fantastic map, again a remake of Nuketown Zombies, but you can see from the intro and outro cutscenes they were definitely a little bit strict on budget to be able to do the big CGI in-game cutscenes that we're used to. So with that in mind, and the fact that we have portions of Call of the Dead already inside of the game via Blackout, parts of that map already exist in the game, so it's a lot easier for them to create content. But an even more important agreeable reason as to why Call of the Dead is likely to be our DLC 4 map is the fact that it aligns perfectly with the storyline in Alpha Omega. Dr. Maxis mentions that in order for us to get rid of Dr. Monty, we need to purge Element 115 from existence and stop it from ever coming into our world. This is obviously something that is not easy, but in order to do it, we need to go to the source of where Element 115 first entered the world. And this is where Call of the Dead ties in incredibly to this, because as on June 30th, 1908, a meteor containing Element 115 crushes near the Stony Tunguska River, which is a river in Siberia, which is the exact location of Call of the Dead. If our characters want to wipe Element 115 from existence, they need to get rid of it from the source, which is a meteor which crashed in Call of the Dead. It makes perfect sense. In order for our characters to destroy the Agartha and the Aoife, which will stop Dr. Monty from being powerful, they need to get rid of Element 115. And if its existence began by crashing into Call of the Dead, that's where our characters have to go. It also aligns with some big hints that Samantha has scrawled along the walls in the bottom floor of Classified. I touched on this in my first video about Call of the Dead being DLC 4, but as a brief summary, our characters need to build a gateway to the Aoife, which requires 3 items. One being the Elemental Shard, which we collected in Alpha Omega and explains why we needed it, and our characters also need the Golden Rod, which first originated in Call of the Dead. Now I see a lot of comments from people saying they already have the golden rod. If we're playing as the Ultimus crew, they already got the golden rod because they went to Call of the Dead. And you're slightly right, but you're getting your timeline mixed up. The Ultimus crew we play as in Alpha Omega and going onwards have already been to the moon. They have already used the golden rod and the focusing stone and have since returned from the events of Moon into where we are now, so they don't have the golden rod anymore. And whilst the golden rod did exist on Der Eisendrache, dropped from the Dempsey rocket and used to power the Keeper coffin, we still again do not have that in our possession anymore. And Call of the Dead is the location where we will find it. As sad as it is that we all want to have a map set on the Great War where we'll be fighting in it and it'll be set all in that, being realistic, I don't think we'll get a map solely just on that. But by all means, if we do get this Call of the Dead remake as our DLC 4, there is also a good chance that there will be many other sections that we will play in separate of the Call of the Dead location. But that is just a theory. And I know you want me to say the next bit, but I won't. But I'm going to end the video there. If your mind was blown, like mine was, then be sure to let me know in the comment section with all your thoughts and feedback. And be sure to drop a like if you haven't already, because I did guarantee it would blow your mind. And if you did miss my previous video talking about Call of the Dead being DLC 4, with a ton more links threading different storyline bits and pieces, you can check it out on your screen right now. But make sure you keep yourself up to date with all the latest and greatest news on Call of Duty Zombies and Modern Warfare by hitting that subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss out on another video. But thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.